The kingdom will formally recognize the state of Palestine in September unless Israel takes steps to secure a ceasefire in Gaza. The announcement was slammed by Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, saying the move would reward Hamas.
I've always said that we will recognize a Palestinian state as a contribution to a proper peace process at the moment of maximum impact for the two-state solution. With that solution now under threat, this is the moment to act. So today, as part of this process towards peace, I can confirm the UK will recognise the State of Palestine by the United Nations General Assembly in September, unless the Israeli government takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza, agree to a ceasefire, and commit to a long-term sustainable peace, reviving the prospect of a two-state solution.
Now, for more on this story, we can bring in our international affairs editor, Angela Diffley. Angela, first of all, can you explain the conditions on which this recognition depends?
Yes. Keir Starmer has said that if by September the 21st, that's the United Nations General Assembly, Israel does not take substantive steps to do certain things. I think we have a graphic showing what they are. He's just explained them slightly. They are basically committing to a ceasefire and agreeing to a peace process which would deliver a two-state solution, allowing the UN to resume aid of supplies, and a guarantee that there would be no annexation of the West Bank. Now, on the media this morning in Britain, various media, it still remained a little bit unclear about whether there were any conditions imposed on Hamas. There is some confusion which hasn't quite been dispelled. There appear to be no conditions on Hamas. It is the case that Starmer, I think, wants to say the fate of the Palestinians should not be tied to Hamas, but the demands on Hamas remain as they always have been. That is to release the hostages immediately, to commit to a ceasefire, to understand that they will have and accept that they will have no role in the governance of Gaza, and that they must disarm. It's a little bit different to the pledge by Emmanuel Macron, who didn't really impose any conditions, but said that France will go ahead in September and recognise the state of Palestine. Of course, what is a state? A state needs borders, a state needs a government. It is a highly symbolic gesture, but one that more and more countries are making. This would make Britain the 148th.
So why is Starmer doing this now?
He says that he would like to exert pressure to change the facts on the ground, to try to make Israel take those substantive steps that he has spoken of. It has always been Labour Party policy one day to recognise the state of Palestine. He has always said the time is not right. He said that that is why he has chosen the time this time. And the second reason is that he feels that the idea of a two-state solution in diplomacy is waning. It needs a kickstart. It needs to be revived. And of course, we were saying yesterday, Delano, that the peoples on both sides are, both the Israelis and the Palestinians, increasingly ambivalent about this idea. Could they ever live side by side in two peaceful states? But Starmer wants to give that a kick. The other reason is that he is facing increasing pressure within his own Labour Party in Britain. It has a huge majority, nearly 400 Labour MPs in Britain. About 25% of those signed a petition calling for the recognition of the state of Palestine. They are increasingly vociferous on a number of issues. He will want to give them something, and also polls within the UK suggest there is support for recognition of the state of Palestine. A lot of people are making something of the fact that it's a departure. Britain has always stayed very close to the United States on this sort of thing. The United States will not, certainly it seems for the time being, under Donald Trump, do anything of the kind. But Donald Trump, I think, believes it's largely irrelevant whether Britain does or it doesn't, whether any country does or it doesn't.
That's what he seemed to think about the French move.
I think he thinks that it's a symbolic, performative gesture, and, you know, Britain can do what it wants. It's not going to.
So given
cause a problem.
this announcement from the UK and France, will it change anything?
Well, we have seen that international pressure does sometimes change conditions on the ground. The international outcry over pictures of emaciated children has made Israel change the arrangements for getting food to civilians. That is a clear case. Otherwise, Israel operates on facts on the ground. It cares about hard power and not soft power. This is symbolic. It's irrelevant to Israel what the outside world thinks. I'm sure they would prefer that Britain did not do this. But the reality is whether the Palestinians and the Israelis can come to an agreement, not whether countries around the world think it is or it isn't a good idea. Benjamin Netanyahu has already denounced it and said that it is a reward for terrorism. This war was triggered by October the 7th. He said this is rewarding Hamas. The UK government and all the other governments that have recently recognised or said they will recognise the state of Palestine reject that accusation entirely.
Thank you very much for that, Angela. Angela Diffley there.